And we're back again. This is Luke-N-SHAE'S place, and I'm Luke. That's Shay. We're back with a hot banger video, straight off the presses. No, I'm just having a little fun. Anyway, we got a hot video that we came across. We thought we would like to share with you guys to see what you guys think, see how you feel about it. But first, we need you to get you some business, like, share, subscribe. It's always important. Set us in the algorithm. We definitely like to have, that our videos get out there and reach everyone. So definitely, how you doing this evening, Shay?
I'm doing great, Luke. I'm blessed. How are you today?
Oh, I'm blessed and doing well.
That's awesome. Enjoyed this great weather we had today, the 70-degree weather in Georgia. Nice weather.
Oh, yeah, we got some good weather here today. I can't complain. Nobody actually can complain about that. We got some excellent weather. It was a beautiful day. Last couple of days been beautiful. So, but with no further ado, we're gonna try to jump into this video and see if we can get going this time.
All right, let's get started. Eager to see what we're reacting to tonight.
Black American women have a really bad reputation in the relationship and dating market. Stereotypes say that we're hypermasculine, that we have bad attitudes, that we can't get along with men, that we don't need a man, and so on. And honestly, many of you guys who are either in relationships with Black women or have dated Black women in the past can attest to the fact that some of us have just really stank attitudes. Now, of course, we know this is not every Black American out there who are currently today enjoying healthy and thriving relationships. But we also have to be honest about the many Black women out there who unfortunately do fall into that category. But another thing that I've also heard is that while Black women might be aggressive or might have attitudes that can come off of hypermasculine and particularly have a hard time getting along with Black men, they tend to be more feminine when a white man comes in the room. I've heard this a lot from some of y'all. And so I posed a question and I asked whether or not Black women find it easier to submit to white men instead of Black men.
Yeah.
And that's what we're going to go over today. I want to look at some of your guys' response and then we'll break it down. Looking at the tweet, it says Black women find it easier to submit to white men instead of Black men. True or false? So let's look at some of the most popular tweets first. This one over here, it says, unfortunately, Black men find the same level of ease with submitting to white men. Okay, so she just went in shots fired. This is honestly something I do notice about the lovely ladies is as soon as something is said or we are shown in an unfavorable light, our immediate response is to say, well, Black men do it too. So notice in this response, she did not question or she did not push back or even deny the statement. She just went on to deflect about what Black men are doing. And the focus here wasn't what Black men are doing. The focus here was Black women. But anyways, that's besides the point. Looks like she had a lot of feedback. This one says, shout out to Malarkey, says, I think a woman like this has a vested interest in the oppression of Black men as it saves her the trouble of answering an inconvenient question. That's literally what I said. I was like, the focus here was not Black men. It was what Black women are doing and what that means. It says she carefully deflects from the question by baiting Black men into an argument that attacks their egos and self-respect. Shout out to Malarkey, a loyal follower for quite some time now, and I can't even disagree. Like, there are some crazy things that Black men do, and there are some self-hating Black men out there, but that was not the focus of this particular tweet. The focus of this tweet is women's behavior, what we are doing and what we are not doing. That was it. So yeah, I spot on there. So this one says, it's unfortunate that you feel that way. If pointing out that Black men need to stand up and refrain from being submissive to white men makes me not see then deem me as the further. I'll take that women like you are handing out participation awards to Black men instead of emboldening them to rise up. Crazy. So her pushback, Takara's pushback is that, we need to empower men to rise up, not sit there and cater to them. Now Malarkey's not having it. Just look, but she tells herself as well as answering the question at hand by indirectly saying that the Black American women are at ease submitting to white men. Next time, answer the question and leave the brothers alone. She's like, I'm pretty sure I did answer that question. It's in the thread. So this one right here, I want to read. It says, unfortunately, it's not just the coons. No other group of men are this dependent on white men for everything. In large, black men won't even establish anything to use as leverage to elevate our people. White men sleep peacefully at night, knowing that regardless of what they do, black men will be loyal subjects. And so, anyways, y'all going back and forth. This is a classic pushback that I hear from black women. We heard this from Chrissy, the video I did a few weeks ago where she was talking about black men have not built anything. This is why black women should not be mad at white women for voting for Trump. They need to be mad at black men for not building a better system. Classic pushback. So shout out to Takara for basically representing the sisterhood on this one, really. The challenge that I have with this is basically if you are calling for nationalism, if you are pushing for black nationalism, which is essentially what you are doing, the building of a nation, that you can't do that. You can't want black men to build a nation or quote unquote a Wakanda while at the same time submitting to a nation or submitting to authority that is going to be antithetical to that goal. Because if you believe that black women are just going to go away and just build this whole system while black women are sitting there comfortably, submitting to white people, submitting to white men, submitting to white systems, submitting to white authority, and then as soon as Wakanda is built, ready to go, black women are just going to leave, and then all of a sudden submit to black men, like it doesn't work like that. That is not reality. It actually requires a collaborating. And the thing about it.
What do you think about that, Shay?
What, Willy Wonka?
Oh no, you said Wakanda.
Oh, sorry. I'm sorry, but no. I'm just listening, taking it in. I'm just listening to the different talking points that she has about this. It sounds like it's stuff she's heard or seen, nothing she's experienced, but just the whole submitting to a white man. I don't know.
So you don't feel that black people in general. I know the lady said black men, and that is awesome, regularly thrown out there. If you say that ask the black woman something, she only turns it around and throw a question back at the man or put the man in that position, which is common ground. But by the same token, it's hard not to see it because, like I said, well, when you see it in a situation, because like I said, even with the proper talk, if we go with even the dialect change when you're talking to the opposite race, okay, is according to where you're at, all that changes, and it's a noticeable change. So yeah, I don't know about the submitting, but you see a change. You see how they interact differently when it comes to them as opposed to when it comes to interacting with black men. So yeah, you do notice it.
So that's something you've noticed. I don't know what with black women who are in relationships with white women you're talking about.
Well, it's not. You ain't got to be in. It's like a system of authority. Okay.
Okay.
It's like that right there. Again, you're gonna respond differently to white men differently in the sense of, like I say, not even in relationships, but more so in relationships, you'll see that it's awesome. If you ever talk to someone that's in it, a black woman that's in one, you'll see that even the like I said, the language and the dialogue change with them. So with that being said, yeah, you'll notice a difference. It's not the same as when we date you guys. It's not the same. The mouth ain't the same. The anger ain't the same. All of these things change when they get, if they're talking to a white man. And that's even if you look at them in the workplace. It's the same
I was
thing
going to say that you're taking my talking point because that was going to be your. I was going to say the workplace. I was going to say the reason.
Even in the workplace, it's the same.
Okay, so most of the time, I'm not saying all the time, but for years, a lot of our bosses have been a white male. So yeah, you're going to speak differently to your boss. That's the person who pays your check. As far as your relationship, there shouldn't be any disrespect as far as how you're talking to your significant other or your husband. There shouldn't be a difference. But yeah, in the workplace, there's certain there's a certain language, there's a, you know, there's a certain thing, that a way that you have to carry yourself and talk. When you're home, you let your guard down, you can kind of relax. You know, I can have a back and forth conversation, but as far as the respect level, yeah, I mean, if that's something that you're seeing that's interesting, that you're saying that they'll treat the black man different. And I also wanted to talk about, just real quick, what she said about how black women, you know, will throw it back at a black man. Hey, so as a black woman who have dated a white man, so as a black woman who have experienced that in my past, so what I can say is, yes, I am one of the people that might have said that, had someone, you know, mentioned that to me, like, oh, you know, you're dating a white guy, whatever. And you know, so what I see in that whole thing is that, and I said it in another video, this is not something that was a common thing. What I've seen over my life was more black men dating white women. So when we look at it as black women, that's like, okay, you guys are saying something about that now. That's not even something that's been a thing for a long time, really. You had it going on, but it wasn't as visual as you might see today. If you look on TikTok and you see marriages and stuff, now that you guys are seeing it more, you're speaking on it. But black women, we have been saying it for decades, like, okay, this is the women that you guys are going for. You're jumping over us and going to them. So it was kind of like, okay, but when we do it, now we're having discussions about it. Nobody's discussing the black man and the white woman.
It's not a discussion. The discussion is not whether or not who date who. We're saying, again, are you more submissive when you are talking to the Caucasian men or the white men? So that's what this discussion.
And I think that's a deep embedded thing. That's a deep conversation. Yes, I think that is a deep embedded.
That's what I'm saying.
When you think about the white man, when you think about the white male figure, okay. So the deep-seated thing that I'm just gathering from that is,
but see,
white men have always been the authority figure. Now, if you could take that back decades ago, we had to answer all the time to the white male figure. So that's something that I think is just a natural thing. But as far as in a relationship, I honestly can't say that, because I dated a white man. I've never treated him different than when I was in a relationship with a black man. But
you're getting a different outcome. See, that's what I'm saying. We're getting a different outcome when we deal with the black woman. See, that's why she preferenced the beginning with the attitude and all of these things. See, that's what we're saying. Y'all are not giving them the same thing they give us. See, that's what this video is about. It's more about understanding why it is when I get here, when I'm talking to the white man, I'm more submissive, more up under than I am when I am with the black man. I'm gonna get the cussing out, I'm gonna get the yelling, I'm gonna get the disrespect sometimes.
Who was doing that? Yeah.
No, but that's what we're saying. That's the issue. Because if it wouldn't have been said in the beginning if it wasn't true. See, it would not have been acknowledged in the beginning, but this is what this is. And they're saying, okay, well, why is it? The whole thing was asking, are black women more submissive to white men? See, if you were submissive to black men, it wouldn't be a question now, would it? It wouldn't even be a show.
So I don't know. That's interesting. I'm because it sounds like, you know, if somebody,
when the emphasis is put and when the entire pressure is put on black men to build, fine, I do think black men would have to be responsible in leading that charge. That does not excuse black women from the part that they play in that process. And I think what happens is we'll have these conversations and we're conveniently looking for excuses to not take responsibility for the things that we're doing. We want to push all the blame and say, well, basically we have to do this because black men aren't doing anything. Okay, but that basically removes the responsibility that we may have as black women to do that. Because my thing is like, okay, if you're so concerned about this, are you involved in different are you involved in Pan-Africanist spaces? Are you connected with men who are building establishments, who are building businesses, who are building industries, who are doing things internationally? Are you connected with that? Because best believe they do exist. They may not have the notoriety, they may not have as much funding. They're doing things grassroots. And so it's not going to be featured maybe on Forbes under 40 or Forbes 30 under 30. Like, it's not going to be in the headlines, but it is out there and it's happening every single day. But if you're not in those spaces and if you're not collaborating with those men, whether and the way that you can, whether it's helping to volunteer, whether it's helping to whether it's just providing a safe space for them to land, whether it's just believing in them, encouraging them, like if you're not doing your part as a woman to those men who have that mindset and are doing their part to try to look ahead, then to me, it starts to sound like a convenient excuse. And I think that's why Malarkey wasn't having it. Malarkey was like, nah, this is just answer the question next time and don't throw black men under the bus. Because really, at the end of the day, if there is a desire to want to build a nation, then that's going to require the efforts of black men and black women. I'm not saying that they have to all do the same thing, but that means they have to share the same mindset. And if black women really want to enjoy the spoils of the white community and of the white system and society, that's fine. But then just do that. Don't do that and then try to blame black men. Just acknowledge that you really like the current system you're in and you don't want anything from black men. Right? Like, don't justify your desire for acceptance within white society by trying to blame black men. That's where I think it gets really catchy. But now, at least she did actually acknowledge us as a hell alliance, because I'm like, that's just not true at all. Like, it's just a blatant lie. They are prime examples of brothers who are doing literally what black women say that they want to be done. But
if you want to make more money in 2025, don't start a business. Try this instead. There's a little trend of
that's just not true at all. Like, it's just a blatant lie. They are prime examples of brothers who are doing literally what black women say that they want to be done. But that requires some sacrifice and some changes. So anyway, so I thought that was an interesting comment. Let's move on to some of the next things. Another popular comment: I don't think they submit, but they're deaf. So this one says, I don't think they submit, but they're definitely more feminine. And so now that's an interesting one.
Yeah.
I asked, okay, how do you define more feminine?
I agree with that one.
And my question would be, I wonder why. If the idea is they're more feminine, is it coming from a place of respect, or is it coming from a place of fear of this person literally has power over me institutionally? We understand in the social hierarchy that white men rank higher, and if that demands a level of respect. So I'm wondering if that's what he's talking about, because I do think black women like to say that they're most oppressed, under the Duluth model and all that, and intersectionality. Even if they say that, I think subconsciously black women know that at the end of the day, they have some power or some institutional authority over black men. Whether it be the educational realm, family courts, intimate partner violence, the propaganda around that, and just criminal justice in general. Even if they don't say it, I think black women in their subconscious know that they have some institutional leverage over black men, even if they don't necessarily admit it. And so that might be a reason why some just don't respect them, because they feel like we have this upper hand over you. Whereas white men, again, consciously or subconsciously, black women know that there's a social hierarchy and that where they rank. And so I wonder if that has something to do with it. So, anyways.
So you think it's a social hierarchy, Shanta? You think that could be what it is?
I don't know, possibly. It's I don't know.
It could very well be that, because, like I said, because again, on that totem pole, see, that number one status always come up all the time, and that's where, like I said, where I could see where it could come from. That I could see where it could come from that, but at the same time, yeah, this is kind of acknowledging it's there more so for us than it, the actual where it's coming from. Yeah. We can see that it goes there. And like I said, and it could be that, especially in the workplace, it could be that. But like I said, it's an interesting conversation to have, or even to hear.
Those are just some thoughts. There's more here. I didn't want to get too deep. If you guys want to check out the rest of the feedback, you can go and check out the tweet. Anyways, those are my thoughts. What do y'all think? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Let me know. Leave your questions, comments, concerns in the comment section below. Thank you so much for listening. If you've gotten this far, bye.
So what you think about that?
That was interesting. That was, yeah, it was interesting. Just, listening to
I know you say you dated outside your race. Did it resonate to you? Did you agree, disagree, think it was crazy, outlandish, or what? What was your take?
Well, yeah. Well, just as far as it resonating with me, no, because for me, no, everybody's different. So I can't categorize every Black woman that dates outside of her race as doing what she was saying, because that's not the case for everybody. Because for me, yeah, there might have been some things, or whatever the reason someone's dating outside of their race, because there was one talking point where she said, Black women, why are they doing it? Is it because they feel like, whatever the case might be with the Black man? Well, for me, okay, and she said that, Black women don't blame the Black man for why you're choosing to go that way. Now, for me, that resonates with me, because I actually did go that way, because I did have bad experiences in my past relationships with people that look like me. So I did go that way for that purpose. I'm like, well, hey, maybe this is a thing that, let's see, because I wasn't trying to, I didn't wake up and just be like, hey, I wouldn't date a white man, or I would. Just at that time when I was approached, I actually entertained it. Well, let's see what's happening here. It wasn't something that, okay, I look down on Black men or anything like that. I love my Black men, but it's just that, it's everybody has a preference. Some people might not date outside of their race, it to each its own. But, as far as talking differently, I wouldn't say talking differently. I think it's a different experience. It might have been someone's experience. They might have had this happen in their relationship with this person, and maybe now she's this way. I don't know what they're saying as far as her talking different. I'm like, well, how does she talk different? If you're saying she curses and then all of a sudden, I don't know, you're saying women are cursing people out. I
That's
don't
what we
know
went.
what kind
Well,
of dysfunctional household
well,
where the woman's cursing
well,
somebody out, but
it's still
yeah.
what we're saying it's a whenever, like I said, you go outside, there is, even when we talked about in the workplace, there's going to be a change in the behavior. So again, it's still the hierarchy of they are rated higher, the highest man on the totem pole. That's in America. So again, that plays a big part in how everybody deal with things. Because like I said, as a principal, when I was in school, we had a white principal named Mr. Foster. We were all scared of. We respected Mr. Foster because Mr. Foster could paddle you back then. But at the same time, see, that was the fear of him. He could come walking into Westbrook and you would take off running. But that's just the way it was. But at the same time, see, you can't, what we're saying, what you're overlooking is that there is a certain amount that you are going to do different when you, okay, because even the thought of saying, I had a tough time with the Black brothers and now I'm going to go try the white brothers. Okay, even in that mindset, that in itself speak volumes.
Well,
To
yeah.
again,
Well,
to the change.
that right there, like I said, I didn't wake up one day and say, "Oh, I'm gonna go date a white guy." It just so happened over time I was approached, and I entertained it. It wasn't just for that, but no, I mean, when you get tired of a certain thing that keeps happening, and you're like, okay, well, maybe this person will. It wasn't even about the whole spectrum of color thing. It was more so, okay, and in my relationships, certain things were happening. The same things, and I'm like, okay, why the heck is this happening? So that question is interesting to me, because you're saying that Black women are treating Black men differently, but you have to ask yourself, well, how those women that you're speaking of, how were they treated in a relationship with their Black men? Because if you're saying oh, she's not submitted to the black man, but she, because she might have done that. What was happening in her relationship where that was, there could have been, there's two sides to every story, and then in the middle line, which is the truth. So what was going on in her relationship with this person, and it could be the person that she chose to be in a relationship. Not saying that all black men are treating black women a certain way, but what I do see when it comes to, okay, the person that she spoke of, hey, the people she spoke of when she said, oh, there are black men out here that, have businesses and they're doing this. The most of the time, what I see black men like that, they don't want people that look like me. They want the white woman. When you think of the people in the NFL, NBA, a lot of people who are making the money, they're not going and grabbing that black queen and bringing her up in a marriage and everything. They're going to the white woman. So that's what I see. So when you have a person like me, if I see that, I'm like, well, what's the problem with a black woman dating a white man?
That's not the.
She's more submissive to the white guy, but I don't know.
Not what you just did. You did a whole line of deflecting. The question is, and we're trying to keep it on head. Are black women more submissive, more respectful of white men? See, that's what she said. See,
okay, so no, I can't answer for all of it.
What we tend to do, and what women tend to do, black women tend to do, is flip it over onto the man. And see, that's what you just did. You just flipped it over onto the man. We understand what is going on. It's not we don't want you to date the white man. That's not the conversation. Or you got a problem with the black men dating white women. The question is, are black women more submissive, more bring themselves up under, more respectful of the white man than he is the black man? That's a question. So that was the question that was at hand. It wasn't.
The reason why I answered that is because one of the things that was said was, why do black women choose to date the white man? So I was giving an example for why I chose to date a white man. That was a part of that.
They wanted to know what was the difference between dating and see even the subtle changes of understanding what did I do different when I dated the white man than I did with the black man. And it's according to what type of black man you dated. But at the same time, what we were trying to get to is the difference in the conversation, the difference in how you respected them. See, now you could have said, well, I probably stayed longer with the white guy without this or that and whatever. But it's going to be a difference because this is where we are, like she said, the hierarchy of everything. It falls into play. Mm-hmm. And we can't act like it doesn't. It's there. That's why we understand it. So that's why even in some of our conversations about things like this, we'll see that, okay, there is a difference. And you have to notice that difference. Because when you talking to a person and how they deal with people, when you see couples out now, see, you'll see some of the same things. All you got to do is just look. If you see a mixed couple, and if it's a black woman, she's not acting or doing the things she would do if it was with a black man. So there are some differences. And that's what they want to get onto.
Wait, let me understand that. So if you see a black woman when you're out in the store with a white man, she's not doing what she would be doing with a black man. Explain that to me. So in the store, what does that mean? So I'm just, because as a black woman, I'm like, okay, what are we in the store like telling off our black husbands? Like what is the difference that you see her doing with the white man in the store?
No, but you like I said, just like you will see in the workplace, you see that. You see the respect. See, I will see disrespect. It's according how and what's going on. You will see disrespect and that thing. Well, if we're gonna go to the grocery store, yeah, you're gonna see couples acting like couples. But like I said, you can tell the dialogue and the proper talking. We see all of that too. See, where if I'm out and I'm with a black woman, I'm not getting that. I'm not getting the same thing. I don't even know if I want that. Okay, but at the same time, with that being said, you're gonna notice a difference. I don't care how you look at it. We were just trying to get to the bottom of, is a difference, and why is it that black women do it? Because we understand it's being done. But no, when it came to answering the question why, see, I never got answered. All of that got deflected over to us.
Well,
And so that's what it was. We were just trying to figure out why.
I can't, well, like I said in the beginning of when you asked me how, I can't answer why a certain person does a certain thing. We can't put all black women in one category, because when we say all black women are acting different when they date white women, that's not white men. I mean, that's not true. So I can answer for why I dated a white man and how I acted in that relationship and how I acted in
Ma'am, we didn't say all. We said all black women.
I can't talk for all women and say that I don't
we
see
were saying,
the same thing.
we didn't say all black women did anything. What we're saying is, when all black women date, what's the difference, and do they respect them or give them more respect than they give the black man? That's a question that can only come from the women who have dated white men. And so that's where that is. But if we're going to be openly honest about it, see, that's where the issue comes in. Can we be openly honest about it? This is why the first lady deflected and said, well, the black men do too, because it's easier to answer that question by throwing the black men up under the bus first. And so that's what we're saying. But nobody really wants to answer that question.
So what I can say in my relationship, just from my experience, since there was a difference in how I acted in my relationship when I dated a white man, because he brought his behind home. That was the difference. The difference is he was home every night after work. I never seen him in most of the 11 years that we were together. He wasn't out in the streets. He was home every day. So he did get a level of respect that was different, because it wasn't him out in the streets coming home wee hours of the morning and all that. So there was a difference. Yes, I did treat him with respect because what he was doing in the relationship. So yeah, there was a difference for me, but that's only the reason. The reason was because he was bringing his behind home. That was the difference. When I was in a relationship,
so you're saying the black man didn't get that respect because they didn't bring their butts home? Is that what you're trying to say?
I'm saying that, and
okay,
the relationship that wasn't the case.
But
the case was that's the difference. That's why I said
but see, now you're justifying it, and
justifying what? I'm telling you why I treated him differently.
That's what that's called. That's called justifying. Whenever you say, okay, well, the reason I did it, that's just when I do that, that's justifying.
I give respect when I'm getting respect.
The question was whether I gave the white guys I dated more respect and was given more submissive to the white man than I was to the black man.
And I just answered why. Yes.
No, but you gave it the same thing the lady gave us. The lady gave us
I gave you an actual something from me.
I know, but what we're trying to, we're not really, regardless of the behavior, okay? Regardless of the behavior, am I treating this person better and more favorable than I'm treating this person?
You don't think behavior matters in a relationship? So if somebody is treating you a certain way, that's why in the beginning of the video I stated, everybody's household is different. What is that person doing in her household where she's not respecting him or she doesn't seem submissive? So if a woman's going to be submissive, it don't matter if he's black, brown, or yellow or white. If she's getting a man in a relationship that's treating her like a woman in a relationship, she knows her place or whatever the case might be, I believe 100% she's going to be submissive and do exactly what everybody out here is looking for. But when you don't have that and you don't have the same respect, then yeah, we can't just act like behavior doesn't play a factor in that.
Okay, but again, like I said, the question was, do I show favorable treatment to the Caucasian men? That's what this whole show was about.
Yeah, and I'm telling you, at the time when I dated one, yes, I did, because
but you're saying the only reason, but your only reason for giving it to him is saying that the black man was not coming home. So again, but that's what you said. But that's what you said. So I'm
Well,
only saying what you said.
okay.
So
Yeah,
so
that's
again, that's why I said that.
so
So
you're gonna
I
get
don't.
respect when you give
I'm not going.
respect,
But
right?
just saying, I wouldn't respect the black man because he was coming home late,
I
and I
respected
respect
him
the white
until I
man because
didn't
the white
respect
man
him.
came
I
home.
never cussed at him. Hold on a second. The thing is, Luke, when you say that, it sounds funny because who is going to after a certain time when I saw my value to him and I saw that I wasn't important enough to come home to when you should be home. Yeah, nobody's going to sit there and still be submissive to someone who is clearly doesn't show any interest in wanting you. So yeah, there was a difference in how I didn't cuss or I didn't do any of that kind of, but I would ask questions. Hey, where you been? Look what time it is. Oh, don't wait up for me. I would hear, yeah, that you are going to have a difference in how you're treating and respecting that person. So yeah, there's a difference depending on the person's
That's what I'm
behavior.
saying. But I don't think it was
And
based
I'm
off
not
of
saying
it.
all black men are out there doing that either. So no, I don't
But
agree
I'm
that
not.
people are treating their men different because of color. But if
But
he's
that's
showing, the
the
person
question
is
was
showing certain
the
traits,
question.
then
The
you can
question.
treat.
The question still haven't. I understand nobody's going to answer the question really. So we understand that because see that speaks volumes into what's really going on in our society. But at the same time, that's where the tire meet the road when we have to understand it. See, that's what I was saying to you. Being open and honest, having open, honest dialogue about conversations that are, you know, it's gonna touch certain things. But at the same time, that's what we're saying in our society today. Our society is geared to not be forthcoming with the truth. Men want to really know because it's a hard question to ask because then it says, okay, I favor this person over that person. And so it's sort of like if you had two children, one is adopted and one is yours, and they say, well, why you treat your child better than you treat that child? And they say, well, my child is more better. My child does this. So this is why I don't do this to this child. Okay. See, that's what you just gave us. And we don't want that. We're just trying to figure
No,
out
I didn't give
overall,
you
is it a
that. So
difference in
I didn't
behavior?
give you. So this is the thing. Say it was two black men, Luke. So this is what I'm gonna say because on me with the color spectrum thing, that doesn't work with me because I love my black men. So what I'm saying to you is whether it been two black men, Luke, I might have treated that second guy different with a different level of respect just because he was coming home and he wasn't leaving me in the house all hours of the night out with his friends. That
Okay.
would have been the same thing. It's not anything to do with his color. It had
But no,
everything
that's
to
what
do with how he was treating me.
okay. But see, now
So
what I'm
that's
saying
how
is,
that
you
goes.
what you have done, and that's what I was trying to get away from the rabbit hole. The rabbit hole is now off of behavior. What we want to know, okay, is this: regardless, all things even, okay. Am I treating this person better? Am I giving more credence to this person or more respect to this person because of their color than I am my brother? That's the thing. So that's what the show was really trying to touch on.
Yeah, I
It's
know.
really trying to get to the bottom of that. And we're going to garner, okay, like I just said, to the child that or the person that we feel in favor of. But that's the whole thing. Being that if you are a black person and a black man, you wouldn't be. It would become crazy to say, well, yeah, I treat them better than I treat the black man. Nobody's going to say that.
But see, I've had
Even if
black
it's
men that
happening,
treated me good
even if
because
that's happening, nobody's going to say that. That's what
yeah,
I'm saying.
I've had black men that treated me good. So that's why we were only saying that because of that situation of
No, but that's what I'm
there's
saying.
black men out here that do treat women good.
Okay, but
There's nobody saying that.
we
It
didn't.
depends on the person. I
We
don't think your skin color
we
has
don't
anything to
want to
do with
go
that.
to. That's what I'm saying. And when you go to behavior, that's where we're hitting the wrong
I
spot at.
have to go to behavior because the
But you
only
can't go
reason
to
why
behavior
I
because
treated someone a
the
certain way
question
was
has
because of what
the
I was
question
getting.
the question has nothing to do with behavior. The question has something to do with, okay, do I treat white men better than I treat black men, regardless of the behavior? Do I
Okay,
do
so
that? That's the question.
I'm
But it
saying
would
that
be
the
hard.
behavior
It would be
matters.
hard pressed to get a answer from a black woman to say, well, yeah, I treat the white man better. Even if that's the truth, they're not going to give you that because again, it's this arena that we're in that you can't do that because then okay, you're not going to be okay, you're going to be looked at differently. But at the same time, that's what black men are asking. We're not asking who you're dating. We don't care who you're dating. You could date whoever you want. That's not the issue. The question is whether or not we are treating each other. Are we treating white men better than we treat the black man? That's the question. Regardless of behavior, regardless of what happened, am I doing it? That will be the question. So naturally, that's what we were trying to get to the bottom of. And that's why the lady deflected it and said, well, black men do it in the beginning when she commented in the piece. So that's what we're saying. But we'll probably never get that true answer because nobody's going to be forthcoming and say whether or not they do that. So like I said, we're going to have to conclude that or wrap it up here. We don't want to get to an hour.
No.
We hope you enjoyed the podcast. We hope you enjoyed the conversation. We hope you enjoyed the just the dialogue. I wish we'd have had more participation, and hopefully we're going to get that soon. We're looking forward to it.
More
But, yeah.
participation, you're saying?
Well, with comments, we want more comments to come in to talk about, have more views on the subject.
Okay, yeah,
Just to
that would
see
be good.
the difference. Yeah.
Yeah.
But just having that right there, it was an excellent video. I can't remember her name, but you'll find all of that in the description down low. But yeah, it was a good video. It was an interesting video. It's a really interesting discussion video.
Yep.
But go ahead. You want to?
Yeah, no, just that was a good it was an interesting video to hear different talking points on that. It would have been nice to, like you said, get more feedback and maybe have actual women who have dated outside of their race to say the reason or whatever the situation is. But again, it's a positive mentality is a destined reality. Your mental health is important. Stay positive. Yes, there's so much going on in our world today, in our country, but just stay focused on the positivity for your mental health. Okay. So thank you so much for visiting Luke-N-SHAE'S place.
Keep God first and put God and make sure you keep them there because that's what the time.